Thank you for being here. I understand that some people get upset when a person presents an opinion that is different to theirs. Unless an individual is being abusive or unjust, there should be no negative reactions to somebody who presents a different point of view to yours. Getting angry over someone with a mind of their own indicates immaturity and the need to control others. Keep that in check, because both are unhealthy behaviours. I apologise that I can't upload to suit an algorithm or particular patterns. I must do things organically when I have something to say or time to spare. Often I can't find patience for Chantal. There are many reactors on YouTube, plenty who have their own style of presentation. Although humans are such that they find safety in agreeing with others, and although none of us can escape being conditioned or influenced by outside opinion, I refuse to offer information that suits what a platform promotes or what people applaud. My content has to be real to me. I'm not on a popularity quest. I'm not about to eliminate topics or words that form part of what I want to say or what I believe in fear of being put in a corner. Although we must be sensitive to the welfare of others, censorship has gone too far and has entered the boundaries of oppressing rights rather than protecting them. If we can't call things by their real name, we dumb down their seriousness and impact. Overusing certain words can also dumb down and change their meaning. Balance is important. You know the saying, absolute power is absolute corruption, right? The only time I acquire an absolutist approach is where animal abuse is involved. There is no room for flexibility where the suffering, torture, exploitation and killing of someone, especially an innocent and defenseless individual, is concerned.
Let's talk foodie.
People in Farah Fiasco's stream guessed correctly when they predicted Chantal wouldn't be taking a bus ride sightseeing the following day, as she had promised. She attempts to concoct twists and turns in the plot of her story, yet she still remains very predictable. She commented that she had too much going on and couldn't go on that bus ride the particular day. The thing is, Foodie always makes up excuses to avoid commitments or getting out of the house. What could she have been waiting for? Her former Syrian husband to reply to her multiple texts? Something like that can throw her off because she hangs for a response, and that deems her incapable of doing anything else. Validation is determining for her. Perhaps she was enwrapped in negotiating a second wife agreement with Mudpit Potato Boy. Could polygamy have been the plan all along? Could they have discussed it previously and arrived at the decision that she would be returning to Syria as a second wife, so Mudslide Man could have children with another? In the meantime, she would first return to Canada and enter a pretend divorce phase as a twist to their soapy for views. Her channel has been dying. How else could they stir interest in it again except work on their script? Maybe they agreed that she would return to Canada and try to bring him over. But given Chantal's inability to live without a servant or a constant supply of narcissistic reward, she changed plans. So, she now wants to return to the Middle East with an offer of being second wife as negotiation leverage. Should she return to Syria, her health is going to continue on a rapid decline. She will gain more weight in a drastically fast manner. She has already put on many kilos in the last 3 years abroad. To the point of immobility, she now must use wheelchairs at airports. Workers are paid to cart her around. Chantal is suddenly saying that her ex-husband handed their divorce papers in the marriage office. Is this an attempt to confuse us so we don't know what's coming next? Is it a desperate ploy to complicate the plot and create drama? She then will turn around and say, "Story twist, we couldn't live without each other, so I'm going back as wife number 2. Or, knowing Chantal and her ego, she will demand to be wife number 1, even though the other lady will bear children. Foodie claims that when she's in Syria, she doesn't need to medicate with THC. What an absolute falsity. When there, she is constantly eating. If she's not consuming meals, she's munching on pumpkin seeds, almonds, and similar snacks. If she was content, would she need to be filling the void with food? She did the same in Kuwait. She's also constantly puffing on a shisha pipe in the East. By self-admission, it takes the edge off. The edge off what, Chantal? This translates into you having to endure something while living in the Middle East. No matter where you are, you need substances to take the edge off. You're always miserably unhappy. I wouldn't be going back to Syria in a rush if I were you, because you will create extraordinary trouble when the second wife arrives. You've already gotten the neighbours involved by humiliating Potty Boy through your carrying on and loud screams in the past, as Downtown Girl discussed with evidence. It is fair to deduce that you will either murder the new wife, or they will end up knocking you off to be freed. Homicide is the likely outcome. In closing, I will return to the initial point I opened with about the displeasure of people toward differing opinions. Overall society may follow others so they can belong. It accepts the view of the status quo. However, in a world of 8 billion people, there are bound to be those who disagree with this majority. There are also bound to be people who are not cowardly and can stand against a crowd. As Gauntlet pointed out, FFG stood to make a lot more money than what she was investing in BBJ. Whether she took her to the vet or not, it's not an indicator of how she treated her thereafter. The doctor visit could have been a way to convince people about her heroic tendencies as rescuer and to encourage more money to flow in. Where there is a human involved, there's always the potential of going either way, toward the good or the bad. If you find nothing wrong in someone lying about the status of an animal, then there is something wrong with your cognition. It is apparent there's a huge difference between life and death. Also, if you see no red flags in a person refusing regular photo or video updates as welfare checks of a previously abused cat, there is something wrong in your rationality. Sadly, certain people make fun of Chantal's diehards when they are just as obsessed and in as much denial about their own YouTube cult leader. Not much hypocrisy at all there. As a final note, I would like to address the issue of no name for the kitten Chantal bought. You are rationalizing, my good people, based on emotion and ethics. Keeping the little cat anonymous isn't any different for Foodie than giving her a name. No name or anything of sentimental significance is about to make Yetta Shanta feel emotionally attached to another living being. Ooh, I better not call her that, otherwise she will go into a neo-Nazi rage fit. For Chantal, everything and everyone is about her validation. Everyone around her is a prop. A name absence just shows that Shrek can't be bothered, and that she hasn't found something she considers flamboyant enough for her own perceived prestige. She couldn't care less about the standing of the cat or Kitty's welfare. It's always all about Shanta. Before I bid you goodbye for today, I will say that Foodie has been assuring viewers she's not moving back to Syria, and that she's just watching online the life of an American lady who lives in the Middle East as a second wife. That's how all your "I'm not going to do that" ideas begin, Chantal. And then it's exactly what you end up doing. Foodie would move to Somalia or Kiribati as long as she could be with a man. That's why she can't commit with the government healthcare department that she will remain in Canada for 6 months. In the one breath, she says she doesn't want a man, and she's also frantically looking for one. Thanks for tuning in.